Family meetings are an important technique and tool that I use with my clients for parenting. And it's really such a useful technique that I wish more parents would use it and understand all of the benefits. So it's a really good technique. And even parents who use it often don't understand all of the advantages and benefits it can provide to our kids in terms of building family support, family relationships, life skills in kids, cooperation, participation around the house, so many skills. And at the end of this video, I'm going to actually list a whole bunch of skills that your kids can learn from regular family meetings. I'm also going to give you a sample agenda near the end. First, I'm going to talk about the parts of family meeting and how you can organize your family meetings. I'm Dr. Ellen, and as you can tell, I'm a big fan of family meetings. I can't wait to tell you. So today, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about family meetings. So let's dive in. First, an important key about family meetings is they need to be uplifting, positive, supportive, inspiring. So family meetings are not a time for discipline, for embarrassing kids, for yelling at kids. It's a time for positive collaboration. We can do some problem solving, as I'm going to discuss. We can talk about important issues, but in a positive, supportive way. And I'm going to discuss how to do that. And again, family meetings should always be something positive that we all look forward to, adults and kids. So it's not going to be like a 4 o'clock meeting at work where I know I have to go, I don't really want to be there. It should really be organized and created so that everybody always looks forward to the family meetings. And I'm going to discuss how to do that. So I like to tell my clients to think of family meetings like 3 parts: the opening part, the middle, and the end. And in the opening part and the end part, we want to set a tone for openness, for inspiration, for support, and for togetherness. Again, we want to set a positive tone and a tone for togetherness in both the opening and the end parts. And in the middle act of this 3-act program, we want to have a lot of content that we can really provide and get some value of with our kids. So let's start. Let me talk about the opening. And the opening really has 2 parts. The first is some type of inspiring message. So it may be a song that you guys figure or consider a family song that you may all want to sing together or listen to together and kind of dance around or rock out to your song. It might be a poem, it might be a quotation, maybe a prayer, and it may be a family mission statement. I'm going to do another video about creating family mission statements. So if you'd like some help in that, feel free to look for that video from me. But again, you want to open with some positive, inspirational, inspiring message to set the tone. And it might even be just a family high five Smith family. It could be even that simple, or any of the other types of messages that I talked about. And the second part of the open, I refer to as the go round. So everybody at the family meeting will get a chance to speak and be heard. And it's important that everybody knows that. And as you go around the table, or wherever it is that you're sitting, I think in the beginning, it's a great idea for everybody to go around, for everybody to have a chance to talk about maybe something good that happened to them last week, or something they achieved last week, or something they learned last week, or maybe gratitude. Thank you to somebody in the family who helped them last week. And you might want to pick a theme for everybody to do, like gratitude. We're going to have gratitude this week. Or we might want to talk this week about something you learned last week or something you accomplished last week. And again, this should be clear in advance so everybody knows what the go round is going to be, so they don't have to worry that you show up and then you find out what it is. They should know what the go round is going to be in advance. So when it's their turn, they've had time to think about what they want to say. And again, that's the opening. Your opening message and an opportunity for everybody to have an opportunity to say something positive. And then the next part, the second act, the middle of the meeting, I'm going to talk about after the third, but the middle part is what I call the meat and potatoes of the meeting. I'll explain why. Let me quickly tell you about the end part first, because that's pretty fast. So the end part, the third part, should be some type of activity that the whole family can participate in, a togetherness activity. So it might be, my daughter's favorite was and is a board game. She just loves board games. And doing a board game as a family is really a fun together activity. It might be an art project. It might be reading a small book out loud together, or maybe a chapter from a book. It might be reading an article from the newspaper and discussing it. It might be taking a hike together or taking a picnic together. Again, it should be something fun and inspiring that the whole family can participate in. And again, that's the third part. That's the end part. And again, it's probably something that the whole family looks forward to the meeting for. So again, we talked about the first part and the third part. Let's talk about the middle part now, the meat and potatoes, the content of the meeting. And there are two parts to that as well. The first is the calendar. And I think that's a really important part of the meeting. That's when everybody looks at the calendar and we take notice of anything important or different that's going to come up this week. So we may look at the calendar and realize that Sally has a play in school coming up on Thursday. Mom needs to be there. Mom is planning to be there. And Mom and Sally are going to work on the costume. We're going to finish up the costume tomorrow night. So we'll know in advance that the costume will be done. And that accomplishes a few things. It means that we looked at the calendar, we're aware of what we're going to need to do on Thursday, and we're not going to go on Wednesday night and have to come up with a costume on Thursday, because we plan in advance. We know for our activities what we need. So it's role modeling, planning your time, what you need, and it makes the time easier for us as a parent as well as for the kids, because they're not coming to us at the last minute expecting us to do something that's either impossible or very difficult to do. So again, we look at the calendar, we find anything different or important that has to get done and that we can plan for it. And that helps us feel more in control of the calendar to come up this week. It doesn't mean there won't be any surprises in the calendar, but it means we've planned for the activities we know, so that if there are surprises, we know that we can fit them in easier than if everything was a surprise. Again, these are all benefits in handling the calendar, and it's role modeling. So your kids are learning time management and project management just by looking at the calendar. And they learn that you plan in advance for things that have to get done. So that's the first part of that middle section. And the second part of the middle section can either be a lesson or a teaching, or it might be discussing some issues, important issues, or it might be discussing some family values. So what values are important? Maybe kindness, being kind to people, or community service, or helping people. How do we help each other? That's a great discussion. How do we help each other around the house, in our family? How do we help each other in our community or in school or at work? How do we interact with our friends and be helpful? How do we ask for help when we need help? These are all important discussions that can occur. So you can talk about family values. You can also talk about some issues that are occurring around the house and look for some collaborative problem solving. So a great conversation is, why are our mornings so stressful? And what can we do to make them less stressful? So for example, if we talk about our mornings being stressful, we might want to do some problem solving. And as we say, what can we do to make the mornings less stressful? We might come up with, well, if we all lay out our clothing the night before, we don't have to run around and make decisions in the morning. What am I going to wear? We should all pack our bags with our notebooks and whatever else we're going to need, homework. Make sure it's all packed up the night before, so we're not rushing in the morning looking for notebooks or books or pencils and pens that we need to bring with us in the morning. All notes that need to be signed by parents should be signed the night before. So we're not looking for the paper in the morning or a pen or trying to find time to sign them in the morning. And by having these conversations with our kids, I think they buy in to the solution because they're part of the solution. We're not just telling, there's a difference. If you tell your kids, lay your clothes out the night before and pack your book bag with your books, they may not really understand why you're telling them to do it as much as if they've participated in a conversation and they really get it. They really understand how laying their clothes out the night before and packing up their book bags can really be valuable and helpful and significant and can really make a difference. So I think that family meetings can be an important opportunity for discussing issues that are occurring. Another one, why is it that our living room always has books and toys and magazines and all about on the floor, on the furniture? And sometimes we trip over toys on the floor. We need to get into the habit of putting everything away after we use things so we can find things and so that our place is neat and we can walk around and we're not walking over things. We're not tripping on things. Again, this gives kids the opportunity to understand the rationale, the logic, the why that we lay out rules or we come up with recommendations. And I think it makes a difference for kids in understanding and being part of the solution, as opposed to being told this is what we do for no reason at all. In fact, if you think this is helpful in helping kids understand that they're part of the solution, you might want to have the kids watch this video with you so they get the point that this is a part where they can bring up issues on their mind also. And they may want to bring up topics that are on their minds at issues at school, school stress, taking tests, bullying. What kinds of issues might they like to discuss with the support of family members? So again, there's a lot you can accomplish in this midsection of the family meeting. And a great outcome is problem solving that everybody has participated in, that everybody's going to be on board and will make a commitment. So again, the beginning, and it's a three-part, three acts, the family meeting. An opening message. It can be a song, a poem, a prayer, something creative. Maybe one of the kids wants to dance. Something inspiring, uplifting that brings us together. Maybe even that high five we talked about. And in doing, again, a sample agenda, the opening, we have the go round, where everybody gets an opportunity for their voice to be heard, that they're listened to. And for the opening message and the closing activity, I think it's a great idea for kids to rotate and have an opportunity to decide what gets talked about or what the family task is at the end. Again, in the middle, we're going to have the first part, the calendar, where we're going to discuss the activities and what we need to do to be prepared for this week. And then we're going to talk about either a learning or a lesson or something about family values or some issues, or possibly even a current event or a news article that as a family we can discuss. And then the third part, a family activity, something that everybody can enjoy together. Again, maybe reading a short book out loud, or a board game, which my daughter loves, or an art project, or again, going outside, getting some outside time together, a family hike or a picnic. So again, family meetings are really important. Our family is a team, and we don't really talk about teamwork or participating in a team. So a great discussion might be family budgeting. How do we budget? And kids can learn about money and financial skills. Or a great conversation, and I think this is great for mothers, is to bring up what are the things that we need to do around the house to get everything taken care of. So everybody has breakfast. We have to plan for lunch, either if we're eating at home or if we're going to school or going to work. Very often we take lunch with us. For dinner, the table has to get set, dinner gets cooked, the dishes get cleared off of the table to get washed, laundry gets done for everybody. And I think it's a great idea to list all these things that get done. And if mom does all of these things, then how does mom have time to get her work done and other activities? And I think everybody should raise their hands at that point and figure out what can they do to participate, to be active members of the family, to support the family in ways that they can at age appropriate levels. And I think having a discussion like that can really get kids to understand logically and want to be active parts of running the family and participating. So again, I think the family meeting has so many benefits and advantages and can be really useful. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments section, or feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to answer questions. I will try to put a link to make an appointment for a phone call with me, or you can reach me by email, ellenwillhelp@gmail.com. I do always answer my emails, and I think family meetings is an important technique. I teach many techniques to the clients that I work with. So if you'd like to talk about family meetings or any of the many techniques that I use, feel free to reach out to me. I did mention that I'm going to talk about the list of skills that I think family meetings can help kids build. And I have that written down here so I don't forget to mention anything. So by participating in regular family meetings, I think children can learn important life skills, such as communication skills, self-expression, empathy and compassion, problem solving, time management, project management, conflict resolution, and collaborative skills. And I think if kids take turns leading the opening message or the end task or one of the teaching discussions, they can learn important teaching skills or leadership skills. Even public speaking, they can have experience speaking in front of people, and they may feel more comfortable speaking in front of their family to begin with. So again, there are so many skills that kids can develop. There are so many benefits in creating a supportive, caring environment for our family. So feel free to reach out to me if I can be of help. I hope that you found this useful. If you do, please click the like button so other people will know it's useful, and hit subscribe so that you can be aware of when I come out with new videos. If you have any other topics you'd like me to address, feel free to list them in the comments. I will look to see if there are any questions or suggested topics in the comments, or email them to me at ellenwillhelp@gmail.com. And next week, I will be back for another video with another important topic. So until then, be strong, be empowered, and let's talk again soon.